Have you ever had that worry that a world without religion might feel a little bit gray? That if you take away a higher power or some big cosmic plan, life just loses its color, its depth? Well, today we're going to tackle that exact fear head on.
And this right here, this quote, gets to the very heart of that anxiety, doesn't it? The fear that without some kind of sacred dimension, our existence just becomes emotionally thin, mechanical, and ultimately less meaningful.
But what if we're looking at this all wrong? Here's the big question. What if that fear isn't about losing something real, but about letting go of an illusion? What if that deep, profound sense of awe we're all looking for, what if it doesn't need the supernatural at all? What if all it really needs is for us to pay attention to the world just as it is?
Okay, so let's dig into that. We've got to start by really looking at this feeling, this illusion of flatness. It's a really powerful fear, so it's super important to understand exactly where it's coming from. And here are the anxieties broken down, right? The core worry is that if this is all there is, then maybe nothing is truly special. That a feeling like reverence becomes impossible, that the universe is just this cold, predictable machine. It's a viewpoint that basically sees a secular world as, spiritually dead.
But here's the thing, and this is a big but. Wonder doesn't just poof, disappear when you start to question where it comes from. It just finds a new home.
And this is such a critical point to get. Religion didn't invent wonder. It just organized it. I mean, think about it. Humans felt awe long, long before they built cathedrals or wrote holy books. They felt it staring up at the stars, or watching a baby being born, or facing a massive storm. Religion came along and gave that wonder, that pre-existing wonder, a structure, a story. It didn't create the feeling itself.
So what happens when we set aside those supernatural stories? That sense of awe doesn't just evaporate, it relocates. It shifts its focus away from imagined worlds and right back onto the absolutely staggering complexity and beauty of the physical world that we actually live in.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. There's this common idea, right, that explaining something ruins the magic. Like, if you understand the physics of a rainbow, does it suddenly become less beautiful? But see, that whole argument assumes that mystery and ignorance are the same thing.
And they're not. They're really not. Look at this distinction here. Awe that comes from just not knowing how something works, that's fragile. It can disappear with the very next scientific discovery. But the wonder that comes from understanding, oh, that's a whole different game. That actually gets deeper with knowledge. Learning about the sheer scale of the cosmos or the incredible, intricate dance of our own biology, that doesn't flatten the world. It expands it in ways we couldn't have even imagined before.
Okay, so this brings us to the next massive question. What about meaning, right? If we're not just characters in some pre-written cosmic story, then how do we find any significance in our lives?
Well, the answer lies in a really fundamental shift in how we think about it. Meaning isn't some package that gets delivered from on high. Nope, it's something we build. It emerges from our connections, from our choices, from our engagement with the world and with each other. It's an active process, not a passive one. We're the creators here.
And this changes everything. Even a big concept like reverence gets a total makeover. It's not about submission to some sacred power anymore. Instead, it becomes this deep, profound respect for things that are actually tangibly significant. Things like life itself, consciousness, suffering, knowledge. These things matter because they have real consequences in the real world.
All right, but what about beauty? Isn't there this nagging feeling that a fleeting moment is somehow less valuable than an eternal one? Let's take a closer look at this idea that impermanence is a bad thing. Because what if it's the other way around? What if the fact that things don't last forever is exactly what makes them so precious? That fleeting nature isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's the very thing that charges a moment with so much weight and power, demanding our attention right here, right now. I mean, just think about it. We already live this truth every single day. A beautiful sunset doesn't need to last forever to matter. The power of a piece of music comes from the fact that it has a beginning and an end. And love? Love doesn't need some cosmic guarantee to be real. It's real because of how it feels in this moment. So, where does all of this leave us? Well, this way of looking at the world isn't necessarily the easy path. It asks something of us. It asks for a certain kind of courage. Yeah, it really does take courage. The courage to face the universe without the comfort of some metaphysical safety net.
It means we have to be okay with uncertainty, with the fact that things end, and with the limits of what we know, all without retreating into a comforting story. But you know what? That clarity, it's actually incredibly empowering. When you realize there's no cosmic referee coming to fix things, our fight for justice right here, right now, becomes so much more urgent. When you know this life is it, your time with the people you love becomes infinitely precious. And without some preordained purpose handed to you, the responsibility to create meaning for ourselves, well, that becomes completely and totally unavoidable. So in the end, when you strip away the illusions, what's left isn't emptiness. It's not a void. It's agency. It's our power, our freedom to act, to choose, to build something worthwhile.
And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway. Meaning hasn't vanished. It's just changed hands. It's been handed over from some cosmic authority to us. We're the authors now.
Which, of course, leaves us with the final and maybe the most important question of all. This agency, this responsibility, it's ours. So what are we going to do with it?